Okay, so we'll start. I want to first congratulate our president for your new position. Thank you, thank you. I know you have many things in place to support deaf education. So I will start by asking you some questions. I hope you understand. Thank you. Now, number one, you know, as the leader for deaf community in Nigeria, what are your plans for deaf children education? Again. You are the president. Okay, Mr. Soji. Mr. Sam, yes. I need someone to please help us type out in chat what I say so that people can see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Chidi, as our president, I hope you can see this. What are your plans for deaf children education? Okay, let me try to block other videos. Let me stop other videos. Mr. Soji, can you hear me? I want to
Yes, I can hear you. I'm doing that.
Yeah, I want to stop video so that the network can be more stronger.
Okay, no problem.
I'm trying to stop some videos. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Where are we? Okay. Now, the first, I think is better now. It's better now. Better. It's better now. Can you see me? Okay. As the president for deaf community in Nigeria, what are your plans for deaf children education? Thank you. Mr. Saji, you can voice out. I'm not hearing you.
Okay, I'm with you.
Oh. Okay, you want me to be saying what she's saying, Abby?
Yes, oh. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Samuel is also joining.
Yes, hello.
I can see you now. Please go ahead and interpret. Sorry. I want the interpreters to interpret the voice. So continue. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to set up, please, just a little minute. I'm trying to set up my tripod to.
Okay, you don't need to sign. You just
okay.
You just voice what he says. I hope you understand.
Okay, let's go, please.
So let's continue.
Chidi can continue.
Tell him to continue.
Yes, please.
You can continue.
What we will do truly is it's a gradual process. Right now, we already created a committee for deaf education, and we invite professionals to be involved in this community. And it's not limited to just the deaf alone. We have interpreters there, we have hearing people there. We also formulate a policy.
Okay.
Which will affect or influence deaf education.
Okay. That's very, very good. Thank you for having that plan in place for our deaf children. Number two, what do you think will be the best language for teaching deaf children? That's the question. Again, what is the best language for teaching deaf children? Is it ASL, English, or Nigerian Sign Language?
We don't have an exact language that we can say is the best. All sign languages are good. Okay. It depends on the curriculum.
Okay.
Some people usually use their full English and use English. Some use ASL, they think that it's good. Some use NSL, they think it's good. You teachers, you know what is best, which language is best, okay, to teach the deaf students. We can't say it must be ASL or NSL or just raw English. No, we can't say that. It depends.
Thank you. Why I asked that question is because many parents of deaf children don't even know the sign language. The deaf child is first learning language in school. Many of them are old, maybe 9 years old. They have some 15 in primary 1. That is why I ask. So number 3 question, I would like to know about your own experience when you were small. How was learning for you? Do you go to deaf school? You went to deaf school?
Yes, I went to deaf school. From primary 1 or nursery 1 or so.
Okay.
I think what is important is awareness. Awareness is very, very important because when I became deaf, my parents didn't know where to take me to. They were searching for school around until they saw one. They saw a deaf person walking by on the road, on the streets, and was using sign. It's only a couple of deaf, you are using signs. They approached the deaf and they asked him where they can, and the deaf was the one that led them to the school. I don't know what would have happened if they didn't see that deaf person on the way. I don't know where I would be now. So it's very, very important that there's an awareness first. So we need to raise the awareness level about deaf schools in the country, in the states. We do not let you to hope that the deaf themselves will know where exactly, or the deaf parents will know exactly where to bring them. But when we have awareness, we also need to be able to communicate with them in sign language to be able to teach them properly. Sign language is very, very important. Either SNSL, it depends on whatever you want to use, but sign language generally is important.
Thank you very much. In fact, what you said is very true. Why? You know, I started a deaf school in my house here, and I have seen parents of other deaf children come when the deaf children, they close from school and go home. One man saw them signing in the uniform. He saw them, I was like, where? He didn't know sign language. So the 2 deaf children brought him to my house and he said he had been seeing them every time they close school, they go, and he was wondering where is the school? And that truly is awareness. Thank you. Awareness is very, very important, like you said. Number 4 question. Number four. I will like to ask again. Before now, can you see me?
Your line,
The network.
your line is breaking. Your line is breaking.
I can see that. I can see that. Ah, the network is really. Ooh, what can I do? I'm going to add you
Don't
to
worry.
the spotlight. Okay, I'm adding you to spotlight, Mr. Sam.
Go
Yes.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so if it's breaking again, you sign what I said. Now, I want to ask. Before now, you have been helping deaf children, and FDF first deaf child was, supported by you, Chidi. So now that you are the president of NAD, how do you plan to help more deaf children in Nigeria? Do you have a plan for that? Because many deaf children are not going to school. How do you plan to encourage and help more deaf children to get good education? Thank you.
Before I say something about the policy, why I mentioned the policy before, you know that we have a disability bill now.
Yes.
And that is the law we follow. It gives freedom of education for deaf people even. It means that when we have a deaf person there, the school should be free everywhere. All what we need to do is enforce this law and implement it. We have the committee for that, and after the establishment, we have the committee for that. So this policy is what will help all the deaf children to go to school freely. That we don't need to, the parents don't need to worry about money. The government have already provided for that. The government has taken the burden for that. It's just for the deaf children to be in school.
Thank you, thank you. Do you know that in Nigeria, we have very few schools for deaf? When we had last year International Day of Sign Languages, we called all the deaf secondary school. In Lagos, we have just six only, and very few private schools. The government in Lagos will say they have the most number of schools. In other parts of Nigeria, there are no school at all, no school, no. How do you, how will you help encourage more people to start deaf education, like a school for deaf children, like I started this year in 2020 January? Will you be ready to encourage more people to start a school for deaf children? Thank you.
Yes. For example, in Abia State, we don't have any secondary school for the deaf. We do not have, none. Only primary school, that's all.
How many?
We do not have any. And then now the number I cannot say for now, but I worked with the House of Assembly on disability bill in the states to make a law that will include that there must be a deaf secondary school. When the law is passed and ready for enforcement, or then there will be an established school in every local government. So the school and the policy, everything that's been done, will help in the long run for the establishment of these schools. We have the federal government who should be responsible for this in other states. Also, the disability bill that has been passed and being enforced presently will really help a lot in each state. And this will create, it will be a gradual process though, but eventually we'll get there. So it's not something that we can have presently, but gradually we'll get there.
Thank you.
Again, I really want to appreciate you for starting a school there in your own town there. I wish more people could do the same thing like this. If we have these established schools around, we will be ready to give support, resource. We'll be ready to push that, to see how we can see how we can support and push this more.
Thank you, thank you. That is true. If more people stop complaining that the government is not doing well, and they start a school for deaf children, I believe it will be better for many parents, because every day I receive calls from parents calling me, where is the best school? Where is the school here? In different states, different states. They ask, they continue asking, do you know a school for deaf children here in that different many? I cannot help everybody, but the deaf children in my community here in Ikorodu, I believe education must be close to the house and not very costly, not so costly. You understand? Because many deaf schools, the little one that we have, the money they pay is much, very much, and parents are complaining every day. I believe if we have more schools for deaf children, it will be better. Okay, another question is, do you, as the president of NAD, have a plan to see that government schools for deaf, many don't have interpreter, many, and we have many interpreters who are looking for work, many deaf who are teachers looking for work. How can they be employed knowing that there is school? Because in Nigeria today, it is who you know before you can get job. Will NAD be ready to see that the true teachers are in the school for deaf children? Because now many of the schools that are for deaf, the teachers there don't know sign language well. Some who are very good are not there to teach. Will NAD be ready to see that our deaf children are well cared for in education? Thank you.
Thank you for saying this. You know, before we do anything, we have to first identify the problem. After we identify the problem, then we work on bringing the solution. What you just told me now, I will save this and take note of it, and we'll work on it together and see how we can make this work. And we'll see how we can solve this problem. Before I came in as the president, I'm just a new president. I'm just one of those, the executives. We identified some of these problems, some problem of education, problem of language, and different other problems. We identified all these things, and now we are trying to bring them together to work on how we bring solution to them. So thank you so much for telling me about this. I'll take note of this and bring it to my executives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It will be a good thing that your people work together to see that inclusive schools don't have, many of them don't have good teachers. You go to an inclusive school and see only one interpreter. In secondary school, will one interpreter do all the work for SS1, SS2, SS3? Not possible. This is the problem. And Empower is bringing in deaf teachers, but we don't want it to stop there. Empower is not enough, but that the government give work to good deaf teachers who are there looking for job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And finally, what advice do you have for parents of deaf children?
The advice I would like to give is parents should not lose hope. If, for instance, my own parents lose their hope, then they lost their hope, then I won't be anybody now. So we should keep the hope and be positive always.
Right.
The most important thing is family support. Because if the family supports us throughout, if my own family support me throughout and I'm able to achieve all this, if other family too support their children, then they will be able to come out very well. We know where to go, we know how to go. Me growing up, I faced a lot of challenges. Some people don't believe in me. Some people think that I can't make it. But I continue going on because I have my family that told me, that do tell me every time that I can do it. So if the parents don't give up, if they give them the full support to the deaf people, you don't lose hope, and you support your children, you instill good characters in them, the best will come out of them.
Yes, yes.
Don't lose hope, please. Don't lose hope. Keep supporting.
Thank you.
And God will be with us.
Thank you. You know, when I did this flyer this morning and shared it this morning, somebody said, this Chidi again? Why? You people, you are praising him all the time. Is it because of money? I laugh. Why? Do you know in our school, FDF school, I tell the parents that we have a leader. The president is a what? Is a leader that I want the deaf children to look up to and say, yes, I can. Yes, I can be like him. In fact, if you look up here, you will see your picture. I hope you can see that. The picture of Chidi on the screen. Why? Every day, when the children come, I tell them, you can't, you are deaf. We have an icon. somebody you can look to and say, ah, one day, myself, I will be great and successful. I want to thank you and encourage you to continue to be an inspiration and encouragement for our deaf children. God will give you the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding, and all that you need to lead us well. Thank you. Mr. Sam, I want to thank you very much for this time. Douglas Izu, thank you. Okay. Motivation.
It's just like bathing. You bath every day. You take your bath every day to become clean. So we need motivation every day